Good morning. So today I want to talk about, excuse me, I want to talk about how to help you use family play therapy. And there are a few questions that I get asked on a regular basis whenever I am working with child and adolescent play therapists and family play therapists. There are a few questions that I get asked that tend to kind of get in the way of being willing to try this in the beginning. And what I mean by try this, I mean using family play therapy in the treatment process with your young clients. So that's what I want to talk about today. If you're joining me live, I would love to know who's here. Go ahead and post your name in the comments, post where you're from, what population do you work with. If you're watching on the replay, I would love to know where you're from, what population you work with. So go ahead and post that in the comments and let's get started. So, some of the questions that I get asked on a regular basis whenever I am working with child and adolescent therapists to teach them how to use play therapy and expressive arts effectively with their clients is, how do I manage all of those people in the session, especially when there are siblings with different developmental stages and ages? So, for example, what if you have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old in the family play therapy session? That's probably going to be a big possibility that you will have children in the session who are different developmental stages. And it's a really legitimate question. Oftentimes, I find that one holds people back because it feels overwhelming to think about managing all of those different people all at the same time. It's much easier managing and figuring out how to facilitate the session if there's just one person, your client. For a lot of us in the mental health field, it becomes more challenging when you think about doing family play therapy sessions. And the other question I get asked a lot is, how do I explain this to parents? Like, what can I say that's going to get them to do this? And a lot of times what our concern is that parents will bring their clients to the sessions and let them do play therapy. And the concern is that parents won't. Like, it's hard to get parents into the session and play and engage in the play process. That's the fear. Sometimes it's valid, sometimes it's not. And then the other question I get asked a lot is, what the heck do I do in those sessions, especially with all of those people? And what kind of play therapy activities or expressive arts activities can I use that are going to engage all of these different people in the play therapy process for family play therapy? So those are a lot of the questions that I get asked, and oftentimes those are the questions, if they go unanswered, prevent people from using family play therapy. And I'm a huge believer in integrating the family into the play therapy process. In my experience over the last 30 years, I get a lot more information when I include family members in the treatment process. I also have I have much more of an ability to make a deeper impact. And for me, that's the whole point. Like, most of us, I'm going to say most, because I really feel like all of us in the play therapy and expressive arts field, in mental health in general, we do this because we feel called to do this. And we do this because we want to help people. We want to help to make that change. And if that's the motivation, then to me, integrating family play therapy is much more effective to make a bigger impact, to make a deeper impact in the life of our young clients. So I'm Kathy Spooner. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a registered play therapist supervisor. I have been in the mental health field for about 30 years now, and I am passionate about using play therapy and expressive arts to help children and adolescents and their families engage in that healing process and make those healthy changes that they need to make in order for them to have the lives that they want to have. And and I love my big passion is at this point in time, taking all of that knowledge and experience that I've gained over the last 30 years and then passing it along to the next generation of therapists who are working with children and adolescents, helping you conceptualize what's going on with your clients so then you can figure out what you need to do, that treatment planning, clinical decision making process. Because here's how I feel about it. You can go to a training and you can learn some interventions, some play therapy. You can buy a book and you can learn to use play therapy interventions. We all do it. I do it too. If we don't have a framework, if you don't have a way of conceptualizing what's going on with your clients and what is going to help them, then the interventions in and of themselves are not going to be really effective. You really need to have a framework that's grounded in theory and informed by research, using your therapeutic presence, that's the secret sauce, to help your clients. And that's what I love doing, is helping therapists learn how to do that effectively. And family play therapy is a modality that I think is going to be really effective in your toolbox of things that you do with your clients. So I go live every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. I go live in my Facebook group for mental health professionals using play therapy and expressive arts with children, adolescents, and families. That's called Play and Expressive Arts Therapy Playground. If you're interested, feel free after this to head over there and join my Facebook group. You do have to answer questions. I go live on LinkedIn and I go live in YouTube. So if you find this information helpful, please like and share it across your social media platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when I go live. Right now on my YouTube channel, I only have the live stream episodes. By the end of 2022, fingers crossed, I hope to have a YouTube video. It might be 2023, but I'm going for 2022. So I have witnessed so many positive changes using family play therapy with clients because you get to see in real time what's going on with families. I remember I think he was 9. This happens so many times. I cannot tell you. It happens every single time. Something what I'm about to tell you. I was working with a little boy. His parents had divorced. They weren't getting along, and mom had a new husband, and there was some rocky beginnings for the family. And so he had a younger sibling. So they were willing to come in and do the family play therapy sessions, just mom's household. So if I'm working with a divorced or separated family, I usually just take one household at a time. So one parent, not both divorced parents. That creates a little confusion for the child. On the occasion, though, saying that, there might be times when you decide that would be a very appropriate thing to do. Generally speaking, I don't, though, because it creates some confusion. In this particular family, there was uh, a lot of animosity between the parents. And from working with children whose parents are divorced and they don't get along and they don't like each other and they argue all the time, kids feel caught in the middle. They have that sense of divided loyalty where, oh, if I like this new guy, does that mean my dad's feelings will get hurt? Or if I like this new stepmom, will my mom have her feelings hurt? And then they try to navigate not having one or another parent get mad at them, or make the mad face when they say something that happened at the other parent's face. If you've worked with high conflict divorce family, this is resonating with you. I know for sure it is. So I had this family. It was mom and new husband and sibling and my young client. And just the initial stages, being able to observe the dynamics gave me the impression that he was really reluctant to be around the stepdad. And there had been some things going on, so I could tell he was kind of not he was misbehaving in there a little bit, and I was watching how parents were managing it and how he responded to that, and which all gave me good information to talk with parents about and explore things a little further when I just met with parents. But long story short, down the road, they were working on things. Parents actually made some huge strides in working together, the biological parents. And I noticed it in the session, you could see that. You could see my client much more comfortable with stepdad, engaging and laughing. So that's the benefit of family play therapy. You can see that in the family sessions. You can see that change. You can even choose interventions to help facilitate that change. So I think one of the biggest things to overcome really is overcoming some of those fears that you have and getting answers to some of the questions that you have, so you'll feel a little bit more comfortable getting started if you're not already using play therapy, family play therapy. Then I'm hoping this will help you get started a little bit and be more willing to give it a try. And always, if you're interested, I have an online play therapy supervision group. If you're here in the United States, we meet twice a month. So if you need a little extra help doing that, then feel free to message me and we can set up a video call to see if the group might be a good fit for you. I also have a training coming up on May 21st where I'm going to teach people how to do this, an attachment-based family play therapy model that I've developed. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the end. So if you need a little bit more help, there are some ways in which I can help you with that. So first and foremost, some of the questions that people have are, what do I do if they all are coming from different developmental stages and ages? What if I have a 5-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 15-year-old in the family play therapy session, and I have one mom, and mom's a single parent? What the heck do I do with all those different ages? So here's the thing. Here's your secret weapon: play therapy. Play therapy and expressive arts, accessing those therapeutic powers of play, using play therapy and expressive arts interventions is fun. Kids of all different ages can play. And if you have, let's say, I've even had where I've had that age constellation a lot. So I've even had, usually the 5-year-old doesn't like to be left out of things, so they try to keep up. There are other times when the 5-year-old becomes the focus because maybe the 5-year-old is your client and they have a lot of emotion dysregulation problems. Then you can see how everybody navigates around that. A lot of times you're also looking at how the family members help each other out doing those play therapy tasks. So maybe you have them doing a play therapy activity. You're looking to see how those siblings navigate around each other, how parents manage and structure the kids of different ages. So um, play is fun first and foremost. So you can choose something that, especially in the beginning, that's going to be really highly fun and low stress, like low complicated, to get everybody to involve, because even teenagers like to have fun and they will engage. So, what do you do? Here's the other question. What do you do if somebody won't engage? That does happen. And here's the thing, first and foremost, your clients need to feel comfortable. Everybody in that session needs to feel comfortable and safe, which means people are going to engage at their own pace. If they're not engaging, we know from neuroscience and attachment that that child is not yet feeling safe within the session. And so we don't want to challenge them too much. We want to try and build rapport with them. We want to see how the family members handle that. What goes on with that? So if somebody's not engaging, it's first and foremost because they probably don't feel safe, or maybe you have a dysregulated client who's kind of takes up most of the focus in the family. You're going to look at and see how that gets structured by the rest of the family members. And then what you probably want to do is figure out what kind of intervention is going to be of interest. So that brings me to my next question, which is, how do I choose the interventions? The way that you choose the interventions is really based on, first thing to consider is, where are you in the treatment process? Are you in the beginning, which means you're doing rapport building? Are you in the middle, which is heavy duty in the throes of the change process? And during that process, you're going to probably do a lot of challenge and then low challenge, challenge, and low challenge, because you've got to figure out how you need to pace it out. So you're going to choose activities. And also, are you at the end of the treatment process? So you want to think about interventions in terms of where you are in the treatment process. You want to think about interventions in terms of the kind of personality and interests of that family. Typically, if you have a lot of boys in the sessions, more often than not always, but more often than not, they like to have really active things. So games and things like that. Not always. I've had boys who are much more kind of deep thinkers and very sensitive, and they like to do more of the art or different things like that. So you want to think, and then you're going to choose interventions that you think would engage family members. And then you're looking at how the family, that gives you the ability to see all of the different dynamics in the family. So you're observing through each of those stages, beginning, middle, and end, how the family interaction patterns work. How do they manage different things in the family? How do parents structure and manage the kids? Do parents engage? Are they able to get playful? Are they teaching versus relational? Those are some things you have the opportunity to see in the family play therapy sessions. I once had a family, this was years and years ago. There were two kids, a mom and a dad, and my client did not get along with his dad. They had a kind of rough relationship. Dad, when he got really, really stressed out, would get mad and say mean things, to be honest. So we were we were working on that. We were doing an art activity, and this was one of those really sensitive kids who didn't do a lot of game type. He liked more of the art type things, and because his sibling was a sister, that was fine with her too. And dad was good about it. And so we did this activity, and it was an art activity. And the my client drew like a bomb next to where his dad's figures were. And the minute I saw that, I thought, okay, that's how he's showing dad that he's mad. And we processed that because I had a good enough relationship with the dad, and the kids were able to do that. And we were in that middle phase. They were used to me and comfortable at this point in time. So we could process a little more deeply. Dad was really good about it. He kind of acknowledged, yeah, sometimes I'm not so fabulous all the time. In his words, that's how he said it. So it provided that opportunity, one, for me to see how dad was going to handle the fact that his son had put a bomb next to his figure in the art, wanted him to blow up. And they were able to have a good talk about that. So that using those therapeutic powers of play to engage family members, engage them in the change process, see how all of those dynamics work out, those are the benefits of using family play therapy. And we know from research that children do better when we engage. We know they do better when we engage their parents, for sure. And we also know that children do better when their family does better. Because when one part of the system is not doing well and stressed out, the other part of the system is impacted. We know that. We know that from family systems theory for the last several decades. We know that from research that happens. So to me, the benefit of using family play therapy as part of your toolbox to help your clients in a much deeper way is important, and being able and using family play therapy will definitely help you to do that. And I've been using family play therapy for probably the whole entire time that I've been using play therapy, and finally got the training to use play therapy. I learned about play therapy back in the 80s. And then I went to graduate school, got my master's degree in social work, and then took me for what felt like forever, because this is before the internet, took me forever to find a way to get trained in what I knew was going to work. So since I've been using play therapy for the past 20 years, I've seen this work. So I am a huge advocate for using play therapy in the family setting. And just a little recap, some takeaways for today. The way that you're able to engage family members of different developmental stages and ages is using play therapy. Accessing those therapeutic powers of play through play therapy and expressive arts activities is your key to be able to do that. The other thing is, how do I choose interventions? You choose interventions by thinking about what stage of treatment you're in, thinking about the kind of the personality makeup of the family, as well as their abilities. What can they do? And then also, what do you do if someone won't engage? Well, first thing you want to think about is, are they feeling safe? And being able to respect their pacing of when they're ready to engage more. And then that also gives you an idea how family members kind of navigate around that. And then also, you want to think about activities that might be of high interest to the family, and then pick those types of activities. Sometimes you have to do a little trial and error to figure out what works and doesn't work in the beginning. And that still gives you really good information about how family members manage that. So the benefits are that the benefits of using family play therapy are that you get to see family relationship patterns in real time. You get to see attachment patterns, relationship patterns, how they interact, how they deal with different stressors, how parents are able to structure and connect with their kids in the family play therapy process. So that is it for today. If you found this helpful, please like and share it across your social media. And if you're interested, I do have a training coming up. It's an online virtual training that's going to be on Saturday, May 21st here in the United States. I'm going to talk about I like to use a neuroscience and attachment lens. So I'm going to talk about that framework of using an attachment and neuroscience based framework to conceptualize and understand what's going on. Also talk about attachment and how that you're going to use that lens for your interventions. And then I talk about the model attachment focused family play therapy, the different stages, cultural considerations you need to keep in mind when you're working with families. Also, how to choose the interventions, and we're going to do experiential activities. There'll be group discussion. So if you're interested in learning more about attachment focused family play therapy, here's my website. So you can go check out my website, rrhcounseling.com/courses, and you'll see the registration and more information on there. I will also put a link in the comments so you can check it out. And I will see you next time. Bye.